Welcome back, everybody, to Comic Shop Talk on the Late Night Collectors community. I'm your host, Nico, and joined with me today, as always, is my co-host, Chris. How you doing, man?
Hey, not too bad. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Just enjoying, a nice drink in my new Molson Canadian glass here, Chris. I don't know if you have,
Hold
if
on
you.
a second.
These are great
Good.
glasses.
Hold on a second. Sorry, I didn't even think about that.
It's very important, guys. This is a great glass. This fits a tall boy perfectly. Any of these tall cans, even those seltzers out there, any of that shit fits in this nice glass here. Only Comic Shop Talk people got these ones, guys.
That's it. Well,
It's the
a
exclusive.
little memory of the Leafs' first round win.
That's right. So this is an important cheers, folks. Yeah. All right,
Well,
Chris. Cheers.
cheers.
So there you go. Yeah, very nice glass. I wanted to bust that out and show Chris
Uh,
memory from the Leafs before they went out in that first round. And Chris, R.I.P. to the Dallas Stars, my friend.
well,
You were close. You were so close.
RIP hard. I almost had a plan if they were to tie it up. I just bet $200 on Vegas. So if Vegas wins, at least I get my money back from the pool and a bit of a kick. And if
That's
Vegas loses, then hey, I'm gold.
That would have been smart. That would have been smart. Yeah. So unfortunately, guys, yeah, Chris is out the pool now too. All of us late night chat network people and affiliates here, late night collectors community, we're all fucking losers in the hockey. We tried. It was a fun time nonetheless, though. But would have been funner if we won that grand prize for sure. But anyways, right here we're talking about hockey. We're here to talk about comics, guys. That's right, Comic Shop Talk. And we're going to be talking about the new comics that came out for the fifth week this month of May 31st, just under the wire, May 31st, 2023. The new week of comics that came out this week. Those are the ones we're talking about here today. The stuff that me and Chris have read. And, we come here and we rate and review them. We show you off some of the art. Sometimes talk about some comic book stuff. It's a smaller week than usual, so it might be a quicker episode. If anything, we'll see what happens. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you like what you saw here today, give us that like button, that thumbs up. Hit this, hit the notification bell if you want to be notified of when these videos do come out. You can also follow us on Instagram at Late Night Collectors Community to kind of stay in the know of when these episodes come out. Spoiler warning, we are going to be talking about what happens in the books here today. Some big spoilers. Sometimes we try to stay away from if we can help it. But we got to talk about the books, so just be forewarned. All right, Chris, that all being said, though.
Tomorrow week we got some big comics here, so let's talk comics.
Cheers. Let's talk some
Cheers.
comics. All right. First up today, we got Punisher number 12. Big finale here of this 12-issue maxi series. They're all oversized issues. Jason Aaron, his take on this character, his return on the character, mind you. He wrote another Punisher, the Punisher Max series years ago, which is excellent. If you guys can track that down, excellent stuff. I think that one's 18 issues that he did, and it's in the Max universe, so it's all like actual rated R type shit going on, swearing and everything else. At the end of that story, he was old and he died. Okay, so that's what happened in his last series, the Punisher Max series. It was out of continuity in that sense because it's the Max universe. Chris, what did you think about this finale, though, to this series here, this Punisher one, the one, the hand Punisher era, let's call it, I guess?
I didn't think it was too bad. I'm happy it's over. I thought it was a decent issue. I didn't mind all this. I didn't like too much this stuff with that archpriestess and all that, but the stuff with the Punisher being down in the dungeon of the Sanctum Sanctorum and everybody kind of passing judgment, and he gets his licks in too. He had some pretty cutting words to say to everybody that was coming in to judge him. So that was pretty decent. And I'm not too happy about the ending where, I don't know, we can talk about that later. I'll let you kind of talk about what you thought of the story. But
how about the thing with
I
the
thought
wife?
it was a decent ending for the series.
How about the thing with the wife? Is that what you're referring to? How about that decision to kind of get? What'd you think of that?
I don't think they really needed to retcon that or put that big divorce stuff on. And I can see, maybe he's trying to lead the whole, during the series, he's trying to lead up to that big point, but I don't think it was necessary.
I thought it was an interesting choice. I guess we don't have to get totally into it for anybody's interested in checking this out, but there's some threads left dangling from the whole story about the wife getting resurrected in this. And yeah, I mean, let's just say like there was something that she went to do there in that park all those years ago when she got gunned down, that she kind of proceeded to do here with Frank after she actually shot him, and he ended up surviving the ordeal here at the end of this series. And she was kind of left in play. She's out and about now, that's quite interesting, quite frankly. I think that's actually the most interesting thing about this. That whole other thing, like you said, the retcon or the thing that they wanted to add on, whatever, that's a choice. But I think that the fact that she's still out in play here, yet they removed the Punisher from current, like, this current setting of the Marvel timeline.
When she takes off there too, she's got a bag of cash and
yeah,
and a pregnancy test there sitting in the top there with I guess a spicy reveal.
Yeah, that's the interesting part about this issue. I quite like this actually, Chris. I thought it was a good ending to a, let's say, uneven series. I thought because of the two storyline approach that they did throughout this, but there are some great moments still in this series. Overall, if you're a Punisher fan, I still do think this is worth checking out. Who knows when the fuck we're going to get anything else, because they seem to be shunting all my favorite fucking characters off in different directions now in the Marvel universe. I don't know what's going on. At the end of this, the thing I guess Chris alluded to, though, is like, yeah, there seems like there's going to be a new whatever hell was it demon fucking disciple, whatever his name is, like son of the demon.
Yeah, I don't care about that little kid or whatever. That's just baloney
thing. But the thing that, yeah, here she is driving off into the sunset with the money and a birth control thing. So unless they have plans for a new Punisher there, I don't know. The Punisher by the end of this, which is actually a line that's thrown out during this issue, he ends up in Weird World of all fucking places at the end of here, and he's I guess helping out the children that are in this rough environment of this world, because Weird World's pretty crazy. It's Jason Aaron's actually written a miniseries about Weird World before, but he's still rocking the same thing. He's kind of just now like a savior of sorts, it seems like, in this like barren kind of weird wasteland place that he's been shifted off into another dimension. I remember it was a comment made by somebody during this issue, maybe it was him, but Weird World was thrown out in this issue, and then that is where he fucking, I guess, thought that he should end up by the end of this, when he made his escape from Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum there at the end, right? So
who knows? Maybe down the road there'll be like a mini series with him in Weird World where he sort of redeems himself and makes his way back to the main world. When I guess the world's ready for him again.
I'd be down for that. I just don't get rid of it forever. I mean, but this is comics, and they never put anything on the shelf forever, so I'm not really worried in that sense. But like, I wouldn't mind getting a follow-up to this sometime.
Yeah, if they can't do them right now, then, put them on ice for a little while and bring them back when either they need them or, sales are down and they got to bring something back, and they got Punisher kind of just sitting in their back pocket.
Yeah, because I mean, I would read a series of him in Weird World, because that'd be something different, at least, that we probably haven't seen from the Punisher, right?
Yeah, maybe he can be violent again. He could be, he's not on Earth, so he could be there shooting people. He could be using guns. He could be more himself again.
The only thing that kind of worried me, not that he wasn't violent in this series, Chris, he was in this series.
No, he was violent, but not the right violence.
There was that great flashback scene though, and the art. I think I had it up earlier here, where they did a flashback of him. And I was like, yes, this.
Yeah, like that stuff was freaking, like that was like the best flashbacks there.
Yeah,
like, that's just a teaser there, just to
show him
how great he was,
in his old school uniform and everything else. I don't know.
Gas mask on. That's where he needs to be again.
I don't know if you read it, Chris, but at the very end, Jason Aaron kind of did a send-off kind of like message on the character.
Yeah, I didn't like that send-off.
Oh, I liked what he said. Because he's like, listen, this is the story I wanted to tell. And he even said, like, there's a lot of things, I guess, now that people think he stands for that I don't love, but there's a lot that I still love. He's like, and he's still a character that's not going away. He made it clear by, like, that's what he said he's like, he'll always be around. Like, he's not going anywhere. But I think in a way they are shelving him for a bit, to your point. And maybe that was his, like, that's why he said that. Maybe he's like, well, no, don't worry. It won't be the last you see of this guy. But I liked what he said about it. You didn't like
it? Well, I'm happy it's there. It's interesting to get his take on it, but
yeah,
I think it was baloney.
Fair enough. All right. So what'd you give this out of 5?
This issue, I'd give a 4.25 out of 5. I thought it was good. There's nothing bad in there really, but the series as a whole might be a 3.75 or something. That old stuff or all the retcon business just really killed me.
Yeah, I'm around there. I would probably still give it a 4 the whole series, but this issue 4.25, I thought it was a fitting end to this story. They left some things in play that hopefully somebody picks them back up at some point. Like, to your point, like, I don't think he'll be shelved forever, if at all, like, for that long. We'll see, because they did announce that he's supposed to show up in the new Daredevil show. They just announced that they want to do another show with him.
Yeah.
But depending on how fucking much they water him down, because it's the Disney folks now doing Punisher, I don't know if I'm interested in that necessarily. We'll see how he comes out the other end, if it's going to be just a former shell of the character we knew or not, right? And that's, I think, to your point, even the letter that he said at the end of this, I guess it was trying to reinforce that, yeah, they don't want to use him if they feel like, or they want to do different stuff with him. But at the same time, he was trying to reassure readers, I felt like, he's still going to be around, but who knows, like, what version of him we're going to get now down the road, right? I'm worried about that, but
it's too bad they didn't have a Steve Rogers or Captain America kind of passing judgment on the Punisher in the basement there, because they did allude that he thought it was Steve coming in, but then his wife shows up.
The people that they picked, though, were really smart, because all the people that judged him have also killed people and done dirty.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's why Cap probably didn't come through that door, because if you think about it, Black Widow, Moon Knight, Wolverine, maybe not Doctor Strange so much, but, like, I mean, maybe demons and stuff he's killed, but, like,
yeah, he's more like the host. He wasn't really passing judgment.
Yeah, but all those fucking people are Wolverine is just as bad, if not worse, at times.
Oh yeah, like that. And he tells them the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's and what was interesting too is Jason Aaron. He's written Wolverine. He's written Doctor Strange. He has good takes on these characters, right? So, like, I thought it was really it rang true, I think, to their voices, these characters, when Wolverine and him were chopping it up. I was like, oh, that's a great scene. Yeah. I like that. Like, when he got in his face, extended the claws to his face, right? And Frank was kind of just like, hey, listen, I'm done with all this. Like, he's
fuck, you're me, man. Me and you were the same, so you can't pass judgment on me.
That was the thing too that he alluded to in Weird World, though, Chris. He said, like, yeah, I'm trying to protect these kids, but there's wars going on down certain paths, and I'm avoiding them. Like, I'm just like, okay, like, I'm like, so now you're just like a pure savior of sorts, it seems like. And are you avoiding them just because you're trying to protect these folks now, and you're trying to do differently? Or are you avoiding them because you're not bloodthirsty anymore? Because then that would be a problem. But, like, at this point, his wife's out in the world. He has a kid on the way that he doesn't even fucking know about. There's some interesting things still to be said, I think, about this character that they can do stuff with. But again, whether or not he's the same type of Punisher, I guess time will tell, right? But, anyways, overall, I liked this. But all right, next up, we got till the next time, Frank. Hopefully, we see you and
hope so.
Our boy Nick Fury, who fucking is in another universe too. Oh man, I hate these guys. Collaborating time number 3. This has been a fun series, and this was another fun issue. Doctor Strange teamed up with him in the Marvel 2-in-1 style here, essentially. And this is just, again, like the other issues, very straightforward. What I liked about this series so far is there is a through line of this bad guy showing up and kind of getting away, and them not taking him down successfully. And every time he successfully gets away with a new weapon or a new piece to something that he needs to get stronger. So, like, whoever the Thing's going to throw down with in that last issue of this miniseries, in issue number 5, is going to be like some, like, supreme version of this bad guy he's been fighting throughout the last 3 issues. So I do like that, because you don't often see these guys lose, right? But he's kind of fucked up at every corner during this little mini series so far. Like, he keeps teaming up with guys, but this guy keeps getting away, and he keeps, like, coming out on top, essentially, right? But Steve Scroce, the guy who's writing and drawing this, he's a great artist. I'm a fan of his art. I love Doctor Strange, so I enjoyed myself with this one. But it was pretty straightforward. Again, he warps him to some other universe. He interrupts his dinner with his Aunt Petunia that he's giving her like this money, the thing for helping him out all these years. And he's with Alicia and everything. They're sitting at dinner, and all of a sudden, Doctor Strange crashes the party and comes through like a portal, and there's like monsters running through the restaurant. And he's like, "What the fuck? He messed up my my date here with Alicia and my aunt." And he's just like, "Yeah, sorry, I need your help in this dimension or whatever." So they go there, and again, this guy's terrorizing this dimension that I guess Doctor Strange tracked him down to. And they end up fighting some other people while they're there that they piss off. And punches fly, and the guy ends up getting this ring that he wanted from this world. During the fucking all the fighting, he kind of slithered off and went into a portal and got away. And we'll see what happens next issue again. He gets away and comes out on top once again. That's pretty much it. Very basic. I'll give it a 3.75 just because there's not too much depth, let's say, to the storyline, but it's a fun book. Good art. So, yeah, if you're a fan of like the Marvel 2-in-1 style thing, definitely check this one out. All right, Chris, Power Girl special number 1.
Yes, I just read this one online. I didn't get my copy. I think I pretty much got this in the Archer variant cover. And I don't know, this whole story here, the art in this one's kind of, it's a style, that's for sure. But this is like the weirdest Superman I've ever seen drawn. I don't know, there'll be a few panels later on when he shows up. And I know the story there, once again, is Power Girl sad because she doesn't feel accepted and blah, blah, blah. So it's a bit of a tired trope, let's say. And I don't know, it doesn't seem to ring true. But she spends a lot of time in some astral plane. So it's not really happening on Earth. And there's these kind of some 4 horsemen, but they're not really all that evil. They're kind of weirdo. So I know it wasn't what I expected, but I really wasn't expecting much. I bought this for the cover. And I guess, she loses her sort of psychic abilities by the end of this issue. And, but she can still astral punch, whatever that means. I don't know. And, let's see where, like there, I don't know. That's a freaky looking Superman.
There's actually a worse one than this, but it was
there's one like a panel where it's just his face, and I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah, that's the one I'm referring to. It was so bad. I almost wanted to put it up so we could critique it, but then I'm like, I don't want to put this fucking shit panel. Then, yeah, that is what I thought to myself too, Chris. And I was like, okay, I'll do at least this one. It's a little better looking, but yeah, that one's not great. The one that you're referring to, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. It wasn't too big. And then this story with Fire and Ice. I know this looks like an Archie comic, and basically was, Fire and Guy Gardner. I've had enough of him being an asshole, and they're really working that storyline. It was enough out of, the Tom King bit, and now they're doing it here again. And I guess Fire is trying to stop, or they're Fire and Guy Gardner are fighting each other. I don't know. And Superman comes into play, and I don't know. It was just. Wasn't the greatest either, so I won't talk too much about that.
Right.
I'd give the comic, 3.5. I was looking forward to reading it, see what it's about, but if this is supposed to be launching 2 new series, it's not really doing a great job of setting up that hype train.
Yeah, which is what's going on. They're going to spin out of this. Yeah, I know. All right. So next up, Local Man number 4. I know we both read this digitally. What'd you think of this one?
Yeah, this story's it's starting to creep up on me. I'm digging it. I like this from the beginning, and I think it's only getting better. I hear there's a Local Man Gold coming out that I'm really looking forward to. There's supposed to be I guess we should talk about this issue here. I don't know, there's good stuff going on in here. The story's moving along, and is this the final one, or is there still one more after this?
No, I think the next issue might be the end of the arc, and then they're going to come out with that Local Man Gold, which we did talk about in the solicitations last week, I think. And yeah, to your point, that's going to be a fun issue. It's going to be actually Image superheroes are going to show up in like a crossover of sorts. Like you might see a Savage Dragon, you might see Invincible. Like there's going to be like actual like Image superhero characters that show up in that issue, and they're doing it like a 90s style comic. Like, so it's pretty cool. Like I'm looking forward to that as well. But
and in the story here, they have that. I guess they have a flashback to the time. I forget what that priest or the kind of righteous guy's name is.
Mm-hmm.
him and whatever Crossjack and some girl, or they were all kind of trapped in some other world there for a while. And I don't know. I guess that guy, since he got his superpowers, he can't feel anything, like kind of sensory wise, and you have to do some wacky stuff. Or I don't know. I guess it goes into the history between him and that other.
Right. Well, he was, I guess, having sex with his girlfriend or wife or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
well, the guy sitting outside the tent.
yeah. That's the reason he got kicked off the team, right? But then, like, this is really interesting too. The thing that he finds, like, in this, like the Hodag guy, the guy that was like the bad guy at the start that ended up getting killed.
Yeah.
I guess it was his ex teammate here that's been doing all this shit because he's hiding this like altar, like this holy altar type of
Yeah, I think it's almost like the art there that would bring back, I guess, his wife or his child or something that he wanted back. That seems to be
yeah.
what he was going after. And then anybody that found out about it, he ended up killing.
Yeah. So, I mean, but the way they ended it, I don't know I mean, there's still a lot of crazy stuff going on. It seems like you'd think like, oh yeah, this is the end of it because like it seemed like he caught the guy behind what's been going on lately, but then they leave it on another kind of cliffhanger note. So it should be interesting. So yeah, I think the arc ends at 5, and then they'll start working on the next arc. So you might get this by the fall type of thing after the gold issue. They usually do something like that, like to kind of separate the arcs, like a special of some sort. So yeah. That's I agree with you. It's been solid. I think it's a well-told story. It's something different. Like I mean, we've seen other takes on this type of superhero type shit like this, like where it's more real world.
Yeah, like kind of the retired superheroes, trying to get out of the game and keep getting pulled back in.
Yeah, I mean, that part of it's not new, but I think the way that the story is being told and the things they're choosing to kind of feature in this story is an interesting new take in that sense. Like, even though it's been done, I think, like, this isn't The Boys, for instance. You know what I mean? This is kind of much different than that. But I think if you're into some more real world grounded superhero, 90s superhero type stories, this might be something you would be interested in checking out. And trade should be out soon, I would think, maybe by the summer or the fall, because the arc's going to be wrapping soon. So yeah, if you guys have yet to check this out, pretty good. Yeah. So what'd you give this out of 5?
No, I'll give it a 4.25. It's good. I liked it.
Yeah, I'll give it a 4. Yeah, I liked it. Next up, Doctor Strange number 3. This was a good issue. I liked it. Pasquale Ferry is the artist on this. His art, I think he's been the artist on this series the whole time. I like his stuff, but sometimes like it looks a little stiff. His style is actually very similar to Phil Noto's, who I know you're a fan of. I like his stuff as well, but certain times his art looks like a little stiff. I don't know, like how to explain it, but it doesn't like it. Some panels aren't always great, but I do like the art for the most part in this book. But this issue was pretty cool because Dormammu kind of shows up, and Clea is his niece, of course, and he shows up, and it's like this one time a year where he can parlay with, I guess, the Sorcerer Supreme. They keep referring to this thing as some sort of parlay day. And what he does every year when this occurs is that he actually is able to take over the body, like the host, like a body of one of his worshipers, one of his followers on Earth, because he's a demon, right? So it's the only way he can ever enter the realm of the living, I guess, without doing something, to get there, like that Doctor Strange could put a stop to. So it's the one day that he's able to do that, I guess, a year type of deal. So this was like a fun, interesting issue where they're kind of catching up, and the whole time Dormammu was kind of talking shit about their past battles, or Doctor Strange is kind of showing throwing that up in his face about how he's always come out on top in certain scenarios. And he's like, I don't know why you do this every year. And he's like, oh, I just do this to piss you off because you can watch literally the host body die in front of you like, away, because when I'm taking over this body, when I'm done with it, he'll die. And he's like, he's like, oh yeah, who's this? And he mentioned the name of the follower, that's the human that allowed him to take over his body. So then like halfway through the issue, you see like Doctor Strange trying to subtly talk to the host body, like that he's taken over, like mention things and try to like show how much of a piece of shit Dormammu is to him. So he'll like kind of lose control, right? Yeah. And at one point, Doctor Strange he puts some sort of magical like coin thing into his hand, and with it the man that's inside of his body, he's able to like will himself out of it and basically escape Dormammu's grasp, and therefore ruining Dormammu's plans just to kind of have this guy wither away and spend a day fucking with Doctor Strange, right, in his realm. So I thought it was an interesting idea. I had a lot of fun with it, and it's not what I would expected from this. They've put that whole murder scenario to the side, it seems like, and this was just like a one-off issue focusing on this. They reference it at the start of the issue. Doctor Strange is like to Clea, he's like, "Did you kill that man?" And she's like, "No, I didn't." He's like, "Okay, good enough for me." He's just moving things along, right? So yeah, it was a fun singular issue. Like, I think if you just wanted to have a taste of this series, you can pick up this issue and have a good time with it. And you don't even need to know necessarily what's going on with like the rest of the arc right now. Yeah, Jean Grey comes at the end and helps the man out, and then at the end of the issue, they get an invitation in the mail to her mother's wedding. Clea's mother, she's getting remarried, so she's like, "Oh no, my mother's wedding. We just got invited." So it looks like next issue, to be continued, they're going to the demon's wedding. So there's the demon mother's wedding. Yeah, and then there was a backup story that was kind of done in like a manga-ish style, which was kind of fun because nice to see that type of style in like Big Two comics. I liked it. It looked good. And it was an issue with Nico Minoru from the Runaways, who has the power of like, she has this power staff, and then she can basically conjure up any spell, but only once. She can only say a word to represent it. So like if she wants to freeze a bad guy, she'll say freeze. But once she uses that spell, that's it. Like if anybody is unfamiliar with her powers, she can never say freeze again. She has to come up with like another word if she wants to freeze somebody that means freeze or something. So I really like this character. So to see it in this little manga backup of a story with Doctor Strange, it was cool. It was an interesting backup. So I'll give it a 4, solid 4. It was a good issue, and yeah, I like this series so far. World Tree number 2, Chris. Do you want me to take the lead on this, or?
Yeah, maybe take the lead on this. I thought it was a very wordy issue, and I really had a hard time following what was going on.
Very wordy issue. I agree with you, but if you want to check it out again, Chris, I would give it another shot, because I think the first issue was a lot better than this issue. That being said,
yeah,
it was very wordy. A lot of the panels too, very small. They had a lot of character kind of talking going on in this story, which is good because you're getting to know the characters involved. But again, you don't really know what they're working towards exactly yet. So like, you're getting to know the characters, but not really the purpose of the story so far. It's kind of fleshing itself out a little bit. I love this naked chick, Fear, though. She's awesome. This one that just walks around naked with a knife. So, I mean, she's a hot-looking character, and she's been naked since the first issue, and she's always walking around fucking with knives and hiding and, like, killing people. So, I don't know. I dig this character, whoever she is. But basically, this issue continued this mystery of the shit that's going on the dark web. There's a woman that's investigating where all these people were murdered in the first issue, trying to publicize it. I guess they kind of get rich and famous off of a podcast about it. And she's sneaking around this house trying to like see what she can dig up. That person's kind of slinking around in the background. And then meanwhile, there's cops getting together to start investigating this kind of whatever's going on with the murders. And then there's also all these techie people that we were somewhat introduced to in the first issue that may or may not be responsible for whatever this World Tree dark web thing is. I think they are responsible for it, and now basically they're being called back in because this thing has become sentient or something again, or it's out on the web somewhere again, and they're trying to like kind of stop it from happening. So that's kind of what's going on, Chris, with these characters, if that was lost on you in this issue. And yeah, this girl basically taps into the World Tree, into this underweb type shit or whatever they call it, and she gets possessed and fucked up just like the first person did in the first issue. And these people are basically there and they oversee this, and they're trying to kill her and kind of put a stop to all this thing from spreading, right? Meanwhile, the brother of the victim from the first issue starts talking to the cops. They're onto something. And there's like a lawyer that comes in that someone hired. So there's a lot of things going on that haven't really been fully fleshed out yet. I'm interested, but I didn't like all these 1,000 little panels that they had in this. And like you said, very, very wordy. So
yeah, especially near the end when there's that couple talking.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't even know who. I guess they were the techie couple or something. Yes. And then, yeah, I think they go into a room, and then somebody's seen the World Tree, and then
This one here.
or whatever that video, like the ring video, and then they're like, "Oh, did you look? I don't know. I don't know if I saw a bit of it." And I don't know. We'll see. Well, I'm still, I'm still intrigued by it, but I'll definitely read the next one online for sure.
Yeah, I would say give it another go, just because I think that the first issue was a better setup than this one. Or even go back, maybe check out the first issue and then maybe
or kind of maybe read them all together, just so you have a better idea what's happening and who's who.
Yeah, because I think this guy does good stuff, and this is one of the first series I'm able to check out actually through issues, like other than like superhero stuff. I bought a lot of his other stuff, collected editions, like the James Tynion stuff. So it's been some good stuff. What'd you give this one?
I give it a 3.75.
Same. Yeah, same on this one. Next up, we got Captain America: Symbol of Truth number 13. I don't got too much to say on this. I haven't been loving this Cold War crossover, but I've been reading it. I think there's 2 more issues to go. Next week, I believe, is the Captain America Steve Rogers book, the Sentinel of Truth one. And then the next one after that's the Omega issue, completing this thing. So I think all in all, it's going to be like 6 issues or something, which is fine for a crossover that's, I think, been bi-weekly. This is probably the best issue though of the event so far, because it was just action packed. Steve Rogers not seeing eye to eye with Sam, and this is Sam's book, this title, and he throws down pretty good against Cap. They've been friends for a long time, they know each other's moves and such, and I don't want to say he fucked him up, but he got some good licks in on Sam. So on Steve. So I thought, and he's just kind of going off the deep end because of his commitment to Bucky and everything else, like the way he thinks about him. I don't think he's seeing things very clearly with everything happening that's happened to them in this event right now. And Sam tried to get through to him about his decision making, and it seems that now that they're in this Dimension Z place, Cap's time spent there, which was like a long time, like a number of years, because time moved differently there. He has trauma from his experience there, essentially. And Sam basically identifies that, points it out at him, and says, chill out. Like, you're obviously fucked up from your time here. You're not thinking straight. And then they start fighting each other. So I'm like, okay, this was a good action-packed issue. It had purpose. It had meaning. It was a nice aside to all the fucking shenanigans that's going on in this event that I don't care for. So yeah, I liked it. It was a good issue. Good art. I give it a 4. Good issue. Best issue of the event. That does not mean that the event is good, though. The event is not that great. So unless they can kind of somehow land the plane safely in these next 2 issues of this fucking, the wreckage here that we're about to endure of this.
I think there's a legacy issue coming up soon for Captain America as well.
Okay.
That's tying in or wrapping up this Cold War. I think it's 750.
Okay.
Like, I'm not sure which ones they're counting as legacy and not, so it's hard to say.
Yeah, I was a big fan of the Captain America, the first trade I read of this series, right? I was like, so that's the whole reason I checked this out digitally. But this event has just been not that great, in my opinion. So I hope that unless they're ending the series and they're moving on, these writers, I hope they kind of come back with some more interesting stories again, because this kind of shit the bed so far for me, the event. And it's kind of the culmination of the first 12 issues of this series, right? So that means the second trade, which I've yet to pick up, is going to lead right into this fucking event. And this is the end of everything that happened before it. So it kind of sours my thoughts on the first trade now. I'm just like, it's going to lead to this.
I don't need to read that to get to this.
Yeah. So anyways, Amazing Spider-Man number 26, Chris. Big issue this week, guys. It's in the art here. So just once again, spoilers, everybody. It's been out on the internet, though. Yeah. This spoiled for prior to this issue coming out as well. Even the issues where they've been putting different names on them in the solicits, which are now, we figured out what those are now. So, but if you don't want to be spoiled and you don't know for whatever reason who dies in this issue, jump ahead, okay? Just, I just wanted to let you guys.
Don't jump ahead. It doesn't matter who dies in here. It's freaking such a cop-out of baloney. Like the hype train for this comic, or what's been going on here, it's been a long hype train. I was down for it. Even reading this, I was hoping against hope that, the spoilers were a swerve, but they weren't. Like, are we going to, I guess we can talk about Marvel Girl or Kamala Khan.
Ms. Marvel.
Like, she popped into this series out of nowhere. She did nothing while she was here. Like, she was just here for one purpose. And it's crazy.
I mean, it's quite a swerve in the sense that who would see this coming, because it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, it's so like, to your point, This shouldn't have been the book that I think she should have died in. I mean, put her in the Miles Morales book and have her die because she is a friend of Miles. They've
Yeah.
been on a team
Like
together.
she has nothing to do with Spider-Man. Like she had, like I said, when she popped in here, whatever, you know, a few issues back, it's like, what the hell do they have her there working at whatever Oscorp, or, you know, kind of poking around as Marvel Girl, even part of the dark web. There was like a dark web Marvel Girl, and you're like, what? What's this about? And now you know what it's about. You know, she freaking gets off. And I imagine like whatever. There's that fallen friend that's coming up, and that was the big, I guess, the secret spoiler. You didn't know who was dying in there, and I imagine by the end of that book, there's already going to be a teaser about her coming back to life if she's not already alive at the end of that book. Because I figure she's a mutant, she can just get resurrected by the mutant protocols, anyways.
Yeah, that's what they've been saying. That the other one that they hadn't revealed after Fallen Friend was supposed to be. Now there's rumors that that's going to be the book, basically bringing her into the X-Men side of things because they've wanted to. They wanted to come, even in the show, she's not an Inhuman in the show, okay? And the show that they did on Marvel Plus, so they changed it there. I mean, Disney Plus, they changed it there already because the Inhumans bombed so fucking hard, and they figured they're not going to do shit with the Inhumans now. They basically had to somehow retcon the fact that she's an Inhuman.
Oh, she was. Oh, I didn't know she was an Inhuman. I thought she was a mutant, but I guess not.
This is what they're probably doing now that she's dead, and
Okay.
they want to bring her back apparently as a mutant. I think that's the point of this whole move right here. Which if that is the case, it's just a stupid way to fucking kill off a beloved character. She is beloved by a lot of people. I read her first series. I was a big fan of this new character at the time. She's taken off. She's got a show. She's going to be in this new new Marvel show movie. So it's a character a lot of people like. So like the fact
there's no way she's dead.
Yeah. So the fact that they're just doing this shit just to possibly bring her back as a mutant, that's the thing. They made her an Inhuman, Chris. But that's when Marvel, when they introduced this character as a new character during that time, they had a big push for the Inhumans at that time. And they put out that show that no one liked. And then Marvel was like, you know what? Fuck the Inhumans. We're going another direction. We'll get some.
Well, yeah. Oh, we bought Fox. We got the mutants back.
Exactly.
We don't need the Inhumans anymore.
That was their excuse to fucking the fact that they didn't have any of the Fox rights. Exactly. So, so now that they do have it, they're like, yeah, no, we're reeling back.
And look, panel here, like you can have the death of Captain Marvel, and this is the best you can come up with. Look at those sad sack of.
By the way, not a fan of Ramita's art on this issue. Not a fan of the art on this issue.
I didn't think the art was so bad. I thought some of the it was him throughout the whole issue this time, right? Because I thought some of the Mary Jane stuff looked decent.
Some of it. I think this was less than some of his other stuff that I've seen in previous issues, though. Like there were some scenes that were cool, like that he drew, like with the dragon and like the bad guy and shit like that getting beat up. But then there was again, like people.
But yeah, for those last pages that are supposed to be so impactful, you can maybe spend more than 10 minutes on it, and maybe put some detail in there.
Yeah.
And then there's other stuff going on in this issue too with those stupid kids. I imagine spoiler alert, they're gone too, right?
Yes, it looks like that way. Which, of course, because that would just complicate things. And then the big reveal, guys, was Paul, his buddy's son, this like ancient whatever the fuck he is, my son. And then he like sacrificed who we thought was Mary Jane, but it turns out to be Ms. Marvel. I didn't even know she could fucking make herself look like people, by the way. That's a new one to me, that power.
Well, I was thinking, if she can stretch out, maybe Mr. Fantastic can do this too, but he just doesn't.
What she did like a silly putty move with her? She's like,
did like a little clay face, all that split up and whoa.
I guess I didn't know she could do that, but like when you used to do the silly putty.
Well, even she mentioned, I didn't think this would work, and well, of course, the first time you try, you're a freaking exact copy, and you fool this demon that has the chains of whatever of the red one, in his bones, and he couldn't tell the difference. I was still hoping at the I don't want to see Mary Jane die, but I was hoping to swerve that somehow she was going to take the blade. And just be, resurrected later on as well. Like you say, nobody stays dead here anyway. So at least if they killed a Spider-Man character, it'd be befitting of a death in a Spider-Man comic.
Weird title to put her death in. Yeah, I don't know. Other than him being like a street level superhero with like she is, and like the fact that but it literally could have been anybody working at Oscorp, by the way. This should have happened in the Miles Morales.
They killed Norman Osborn, like they don't need him anymore.
Chris,
Maybe they have plans for him.
She's friends with Miles. She was on a team with Miles. I'm like, why didn't that happen? And if you wanted to put in another book other than her own, put it in the fucking Miles Morales. It didn't make any sense doing it in this book. Yeah. Weird stuff. So I don't know. What'd you give this then?
The more I did like reading it. I was excited to read it. I'm looking forward to that. That final Fallen Friend or whatever, and see what they do in there. I'll still give it a 4. Like, I did like it. I think it's crappy what they did.
Yeah.
But like that. What was those lines there before, where the guy said, "Oh, you might not want to go to Comic-Cons. People are gonna be so mad at you." Like, I'm not mad that you killed Captain or whatever, Miss Marvel, because it's not real, or it's not gonna last.
Yeah.
And I just want to see how this is going to fall out, or like an issue 27, and they're going to run around like none of this ever happened, or what?
I just want them to move past this now, quite frankly, because I love this series. This arc has been so, and I just want them to go back to whatever random stories that they're telling. Go tell some more Black Cat stories, whatever you want to do, but like we can move past this like thing that's been hanging in the air since like the first issue or whatever. Right? So. Because this story wasn't worth it, and that's me saying it. Like halfway through, I thought there was some decent stuff going on, and then this kind of like this end was just like whatever. I give this a 3.5 out of 5. It's not terrible, but it's not my favorite. It felt like it was really crowbarred into this fucking storyline where it's just like it wasn't necessary. And that she's not going to be dead for long. And I guarantee you this is just a way to make her a mutant. Probably that's the only thing I would say to that, or something different than whatever she is currently, because she's an Inhuman, and they don't even fucking reference the Inhumans anymore. Yeah. All right, Chris, Edge of Spider-Verse number 2.
Edge of Spider-Verse number 2. Oh yeah, I think I just picked this one up. I think they just sent in my box by accident. I think I got, because I ordered number 1 because they had that the Spider T-Rex versus the Venom one. And I guess they just ordered the second one for me. This one was a pile of garbage. With the spinstress in there, like, you think that World Tree, at least the World Tree reading, was kind of, grim, dark, had something. I know what these words are, what song they're supposed to be referencing when they're singing songs.
Chris, I didn't know you were a Disney princess fan.
And then, well, the second story was, well, yeah, you can go through all this.
Yeah, the second story, we're getting to it. Hold on.
I think there's a Venom reveal at the end. Big deal. I don't know. Who cares? First appearance of freaking Disney Venom.
This looked interesting.
This one was a little more decent. This is like some weirdo world again. And, it's nothing to do with kind of Peter Parker, but still a spider kind of person. I don't know. Somebody poisons the water, and all these babies are freaking born weirdo. And so they're killing all the babies. And then, one mother, she decides to have her baby in the barn so her husband doesn't see it. And she leaves the baby out in the forest. And it turns into a Spider-Man baby. And, by the time 15 years later, this group of Kraven hunters end up raiding the village. And then that spider teenager has to come in and save them. It's a decent story. I don't think it's going anywhere, but if I didn't read it, I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah. All right. So
I 3.
Okay. And a book from last week that Chris actually ended up checking out, guys. So this didn't come out this week, just so you know. But Chris, do you want to talk on Edge of Extreme Venomverse number 2?
Venom. So it's the same vein as this here, except it's all Venom.
Good art.
This had a couple good stories in it, though.
Good art too. I liked the art in this issue. I gotta say
this story here. This would be a good what if story. It's pretty much a what if Black Cat got infected by the Venom. The only disconnect between this and sort of the original kind of story is back when Spider-Man, this is the time, I guess, when Spider-Man was first separated from his symbiote suit, and was stuck in a jar in the Fantastic Four building. And back then, Venom wasn't a fleshed out character, or the suit wasn't a fleshed out. All it did was want to take its host, suck them dry, and then, move on to the next one. So here in this one, of course, now it's sort of the new Venom where it thinks, it talks, it accepts people and all that sort of thing. So here, Black Cat gets kind of, sees the Venom in a cage. And, she goes, oh, I can't leave this person there. I can't leave this, whatever it is, this life form in a cage. So she sets it free. It bonds with her. And, there's all this stuff with Bagman and all that stuff too. So, it's funny that they reference him now there as Bagman because that's what he's called. But back then, he was just Spider-Man with the bag on his head. They never called him Bagman or anything. He didn't have a name.
Yeah.
So it was kind of fun to go back to that time. Like I remember reading those issues kind of when they came out. So I did enjoy that. And for this one, the second story was absolute garbage. I don't know.
Oh, really? Because the art looks awesome in this story, but it's like what, like medieval time Venom or something? What is this?
Yeah, like after reading Dark Knights of Steel, anything that goes back to the medieval times, it better be freaking good.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
And this is like, I think Venom's a jester or something.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
And then I don't know, they have the Carnage coming in, and I don't know, they're really beating the Spider-Verse or Venomverse stuff. It's cool how they can use that as a tool to, bring out all these characters and throw whatever you want against the wall and see what sticks.
Right.
But, a lot gets thrown to the wall and not much is sticking.
Yeah.
And yeah, for that one, that first story, I really liked it. But in the second story, it was whatever. What was the second and third? Oh, there's a third story in that too.
Oh, I don't think
the Venomverse one.
Yeah, I don't think I brought it up. I don't have
it.
I
think this was just another alternate universe or whatever, and they have I guess they're trying to trap the Venom symbiote. They have a life model decoy of Eddie Brock, and then I guess Venom's been separated from him, and he sees him there, so he tries to bond with him, and then by bonding with this life model decoy, somehow it's like spiritually grafted to him, so that it can't like unbond from the life model decoy. And then you get some cool stuff because it's an advanced robot. He kind of shreds his arm, so you'd see all this stuff there. So it was a cool looking Venom. But whatever, it's a baloney story as well. I give it a 3.75 just because all the good stuff with the Black Cat Venom.
Nice. Okay, cool. All right, guys. So that's going to do it for this week. Yeah, we did pretty good time still. We kind of, we really extended the time here talking about these ones, but it's good not to be in a rush sometimes when we have fucking 20 books to talk about as well, right?
Oh, we had 2 big books to talk about, that Punisher and the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I think they deserved a few extra minutes.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's good, man. So yeah, well, what are you picking up or reading next week there, Chris?
So next week, I think we're picking up X-Men 23, Batman 136, which I think is the beginning of a new arc. Is it or is it not?
It is, yeah. Yep.
It's supposed to be Batman and Catwoman or versus Catwoman, I think. So I'm looking forward to that. And it might be George Jimenez coming back. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So this next issue is Balin Ortega, she's the one that did the backup Catwoman story with Zdarsky, who's also pretty good. She does a good Catwoman. So but I think the Jimenez stuff, once the crossover happens, then he's gonna come.
The crossover isn't happening yet. This is sort of, I guess he's coming back to
this is the setup.
Kind of get his feet back in Gotham and see what's going on.
The aftermath of the last thing, the storyline, I think. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, after whatever 130. Well, I guess after 135, that was a legacy issue or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Red Hood issue. Yeah.
Yeah. And we got Dark Knights of Steel at 11 only still. Like, how long has this been going on for?
2 years.
I think Dark Knights of Steel 1 came on before we started doing this show.
You're right.
But anyways, Daredevil 12, Immortal X-Men 12, Spider-Man 9, and Venom 20. I got a bunch I'm reading through. Iron Man 7. They might give this I Hate This Place 9, Ambassador 6, John Kent. I forget what number that is. Peacemaker 2, Poison Ivy 13, maybe Shazam 2, and I might give Fantastic Four 8. Give it a read. I think there's a good one coming up in August, it seems, where they're stuck in a spaceship. So
okay,
we'll see what's going on there.
Yeah, I mean, so back to business after this 5-week thing. Everything seems to be coming out next week. Big week, so we're back to business next week, guys. So the things I'm picking up physically, we got Batman 136, Dark Knights of Steel 11, Peacemaker Tries Hard with an exclamation part number 2. Daredevil 12, Immortal X-Men 12, Phantom Road 4, Spider-Man 9, and X-Men 23. And ones I'm reading online next week here digitally, we got Once Upon a Time at the End of the World 6, Hairball 3, Adventures of Superman John Kent 4, Shazam 2, Ambassador 6, Cap Sentinel of Liberty 13, Fantastic Four 8, Iron Man 7. Jeez, that's a big fucking week. So there you go, guys. That'll be make up for the small week this week. I quickly wanted to mention too, in terms of comic book news, we don't have to get into a whole thing though on this right now. I think I mentioned it in passing last week, but we didn't end up getting into it at all. I forgot to mention it because we had previews. Image left Diamond this past week, who was the last big comic company essentially that actually dealt just through Diamond as a distributor. And as of now, because Image, Dark Horse, DC, and Marvel over the last like couple of years now have all slowly left Diamond, they've lost 85% of the fucking market share like of companies. So not looking good for Diamond. I don't know what's gonna happen there, but and it's not easier for a lot of comic book retailers now because they gotta order, especially here in Canada, we gotta order from like 3 different distributors now as a result of this. But I mean, I guess that's the cost of doing business, man. I mean, unfortunately, I guess they rubbed a lot of people the wrong way over the years, and they've all left them now. But that's 85 fucking % of the market is those fucking 4 comic companies. Those are the 4 big ones: Marvel, DC, even like head and head at times. Then Image, which is I think like 20%, 15 to 20%, and then Dark Horse, which is like a little bit less than that.
Yeah.
But still, that's a big
the majority of your business.
Yeah, that's a big chunk. Like at this point, there's not many publishers or smaller, newer publishers that keep popping up that are going to be doing business through them still. But like IDW, which is almost done. It seems like they barely print anything these days except for like Ninja Turtles. Boom. Like there's not many big publishers left with Diamond now. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens in terms of the business landscape moving forward. If Diamond will survive. I don't know. All these companies, when they leave them too, they said, oh yeah, we're still going to be dealing through them though for the book market. So they're like literally just using their warehouse to like keep their graphic novels in and then send them to like bookstores essentially. But comic book stores, nothing through Diamond for those fucking companies now essentially. So
yeah, maybe it'll be for like trade paperbacks and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
They're just gifting out, stuff where you can just order more bigger stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, so there you have it. I just want to quickly mention that. It's very interesting though. If you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, it's if you didn't know, Diamond was basically the only company it was a monopoly, like the only company for years and years and years and years now, like that since the 90s, I think, right? That they've been like the only distributor of comics. So apparently some shadiness has caught on with that company too. All right, Chris, your favorite book of the week, my friend.
I'm gonna have to give it to a book I read online. I'll have to give it to Local Man.
Wow, it's like the second time I think you've given Local Man. There's nothing wrong with giving it to one you read online. I get it. You like holding the book in your hands, but hey, it's a good one. Very good. Nice. I'm also going to read it, give it to a book I read online this week, but that's only because I didn't pick up my copy yet. Punisher number 12. I got to. It was the thing I was looking for.
Punisher 12.
What?
I couldn't give it to Punisher 12. If they had more of his freaking him in that Punisher suit, or more of a tease that the Punisher be coming back, even if he's not, just tease that he is, and I'd sit on that for a year or two. But
I mean, the reason mostly why for me is that it was the book I was looking forward to the most this week. I love the character. I don't feel it was a terrible ending. Did everything happen the way I wanted it to? No, but this story itself, in and of itself, was a story that was a different, weird Punisher story at this time, I think, for readers of the Punisher. And I'm going to take what I can get. And I don't think it was all half bad, man. I thought there were some things I didn't love about it. It's not in my top 5 Punisher runs or issues or any of that shit. For sure, no. It's not going to reach that. This isn't even as good as the previous Jason Aaron Punisher, which I mentioned at the top of the show, is the Punisher Max series that he did. but it's not bad. I know it's not.
Yeah, when the Punisher came out, would you think this whole series anything like this? Like, when they first said, "Oh, Punisher's back for whatever a 12-issue run," and he's taking over the Hand,
Yeah.
and this would be way out of left field.
Yeah.
What happened in this whole series?
Yeah.
It's like I got a lot of Punisher stuff there, and I don't know. This was not it.
Well, there you have it. There you have it. Not it for Chris. I'm going to name this episode hashtag not my Punisher.
Well,
yeah, because it's clearly not.
I'll say the t-shirt I was going to wear this week. I'll wear it next week.
Okay.
Good one.
Good. I look forward to it. Hey, man. Look, all I got to say is this. When I throw up these comics, what's that in the background? All right, there you go. The skull. All right, that's that will remain on this show, guys.
Oh, are you a Trumper? Is that what's going on? Is that what you're trying to put out there?
That's all I'm gonna say. All right, so guys,
make comics great again.
Guys, we'll see you guys next week. Me and Chris are gonna go raid the Capitol. No. But and that's the thing, and that's the shitty part that people like that give them a bad name, and now they can't fucking do Punisher comics the way they want to anymore. Thanks a lot. So that's who
knew Trump getting elected would ruin the Punisher.
Oh boy. So yeah.
Crazy world.
Thanks a lot, you Nazis. Thanks for ruining the Punisher for us.
You don't got enough symbols on your own. You gotta go take something else.
Yeah, well, apparently they're over the swastika.
Not bad enough.
All right, we're going way off the rails now. So before we say anything else, it's all a jest though, guys, for sure. But seriously, Punisher, we want our Punisher back, man. Listen, they shunted off Nick Fury. They fucking they sent Punisher to another dimension. They're both in like dimensions now. I don't know.
Maybe they'll run into each other. That's what they should have. Nick Fury meets the Punisher in whatever worlds they are. That'd be nice.
Now we're talking. Listen, I'm on board for that. If they do that, I'll take back everything I said. Maybe not everything, but some things. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in as always. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Chris, thank you. This is always a good time.
All right, we'll see you next week.
I'll see you guys next week. Later.